The scripture says in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 18, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled." Jesus cares about every letter, every jot, every tittle in the Word. When we look at the book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 26, we find there the word Geba is given in the pure Cambridge edition of the King James Bible. And yet, many other editions, in fact, probably every edition from 1611 to 1769 and beyond, has the word Gaba, G-A-B-A, instead of G-E-B-A. What we find is that this rendering, this word Geba, is correct in the King James Bible on several important bases. First of all, that if the Pure Cambridge edition is correct in every other place, and it's generally recognized that it is correct, for example, people will say the Cambridge edition is more correct in its presentation than the Oxford edition, then it must be correct in this place also. The proper editions of the King James Bible, which have brought in editorial corrections in correcting typographic errors or to bring in standardized spelling, have brought in material which may not have existed before in previous editions. So the Pure Cambridge edition would then be in no way different to the other editions in that it also has introduced material which has not existed before in prior editions. And you can see that in 1769 or 1638, there's things in those editions which didn't exist, which didn't appear in editions before. Does that mean the King James Bible has changed? No, it doesn't mean that text and translation has changed at all. What it means is, because of standardization, correcting of typographical errors and things like that, we have what appears to be something novel or new, in fact is just bringing it into the conformity of purity, accuracy, and exactness in the English editorial work. And things like regularization, making sure the spellings and is in uniformity and so on, is all part of that editorial work. The Pure Cambridge edition rendering of Geba, which is the correct rendering, does find a historical attestation in the Reformation English Bibles, the Bibles such as the Bishop's Bible, which came before the King James Bible and upon which the King James Bible is based, has the word Geba in it, and so do some other examples as well. So the word Geba is not some new invention just popping up in the 20th century. It in fact was there already in those old Bibles. That the King James Bible in many editions did not have Geba can be because of a printing error, because they do exist and have existed and could have persisted for many years, unnoticed or seemingly unimportant, persisting on for many years before it was picked up and corrected to bring the Bible into exact conformity to correct presentation down to the jot and tittle. Also, we can recognize that even though old examples may have Gaba, G-A-B-A or G-A-B-A-A or some similar spelling, such as coming out of the Greek Septuagint or in maybe Latin, we also find that there is support for the word Geba in the proper Hebrew scholarship understanding of rendering that word. And especially when you compare to Nehemiah chapter 7 and verse 30, you'll see that the word Geba is also there rendered in the Pure Cambridge edition correctly in this way as well. And so this indicates that it should be the same in both places. The word Gaba is in the King James Bible, and that's in the book of Joshua, but that use there in Joshua is different to the other uses. The towns that are named there certainly differ in the list of names used in the other references. And also the context of the place is to do with Canaanite settlements rather than what we would see then was the Israel settlements, or the children of Israel, the tribes coming in and actually taking hold of the land. So the word Gaba may indicate a different place or something different to Geba anyway, which we cannot say much about because we don't know really, but it's possible. You know that in the King James Bible, there is reference to from Geba to Bathsheba. This is a prophetic type of reference, because not only does it mean throughout the Israel or throughout the kingdom, especially the Judah kingdom, not only does it mean throughout the kingdom of Judah, that is from Geba the north to Beersheba in the south, or as in the main centres of power in their kingdom, but also it links us to the idea of the Pure Cambridge edition, because in Joshua chapter 9 in verse 2 it does talk about Beersheba when it says Beersheba or Sheba. This is of course the correct rendering, but we know in the Oxford edition, for example, it says Beersheba and Sheba, as though they are two different places. They're not. Sheba is just a part of Beersheba. In fact, there's a well at Beersheba that was called Sheba, with an H on the end, and that Sheba could just be the shortened word form, the name for the same place, which is what the Pure Cambridge edition indicates. So if that's the case in the word Beersheba, when it says from Geba to Beersheba, wouldn't we link the idea of having a perfect edition in the Beersheba category would also mean the Geba category as well? And I think that's a typological type of example with King Josiah finding the Book of the Law in the temple, or actually his men did, and how the law was established through the land, and the Sodomites were destroyed and so on from Geba to Beersheba. So the idolatry and so on was come against by King Josiah. And this does indicate to us an interesting thing about the Pure Cambridge edition having the correct renderings both of Geba and Beersheba. More importantly, as far as the irony of modern attack on the King James Bible, and yet agreeing with the true, is that every modern version in English apparently has the word Geba at Ezra 2 verse 26, G-E-B-A. And this is ironic in that the Pure Cambridge edition therefore is being supported by the, let's say, universal claim of modern scholarship. The modern versions are saying Geba is correct. The modern scholarship is supporting Geba. And this in itself indicates something about if the princes of this world had known about this issue at that time, and throughout the modern version attack, then they would not have, we would think, gone down the road of having the word Geba there. Interestingly, therefore, their whole consensus of witness for the word Geba actually then provides grounds for support for the King James Bible being correctly rendered in the Pure Cambridge edition, Geba as well. So these are some things which we can see concerning the word Geba, why it is correct in the Pure Cambridge edition, and why it is exactly pure and clean, it's clear, and it's right to have the word Geba, and how, whilst in itself it may not be a doctrinal issue, like it's not going to be a different doctrine if you say Gaba, it's not a doctrinal issue in itself. What the doctrinal issue surrounds is what is the exact word, jot and tittle of Scripture in English. What is the exact letter? How should we pronounce and sound the word? And when it comes to that, which is a doctrine, then we'll see that the Pure Cambridge edition rendering of Geba is correct, because it aligns with the proper view of the King James Bible in its purified edition.